Medaka Books is a series about, who would have guessed it, Medaka, and as such pretty much every main antagonist in the series foils Medaka in some way or another. Akane foils her perfectionist self, he is the perfect prince to her perfect goddess. Kikijima foils her drive to achieve her goals no matter the cost or the harm it may cause to her own life. Unzun foils her firmness to her beliefs and her uncompromising nature. Miyakonjo foils her ego and her natural disposition of being superior. Kumigawa foils her inability to understand people by being someone who is incomprehensible, and also her flawed mindset. Najimi foils her way of seeing herself as a protagonist. Momozono foils her inability to communicate feelings, and Ahiko foils her isolation. However, even though all these characters foil an aspect of her character in some way or another, there is one character who reflects Medaka even better, and that is the person whose role it was to be her double. Of course, that is the girl who couldn't distinguish between her heart and her work, Shiranui Hansode, and that's who we shall discuss today. If you find yourself entertained at any point during the video, then consider liking, subscribing and ringing that bell, as I can explain to you how much such a small action can do for this channel, and if you want to go the extra mile to support this channel even further, you can always check out my Patreon. Anyway, on with the video. Shiranui Hansode, as a member of the Shiranui family, grew up as an actor, or more technically, as someone who plays the role of a double, the shadow of someone else who reflects the aspects of them that they lack. And for Shiranui, the assignment she was given, the person she was to shadow, was of course Medaka. Shiranui's foiling of Medaka is very much clear. One's tall and mature, the other's short and childlike. One's an abnormal, the other's a minus. One's always involved in the action, the other is always behind the scenes. One acts like they know all when they are really naive, the other acts aloof but knows all the details. One eats little, the other eats loads. Both perfect the skills of others, but one does so for themselves and one does so for other people. Shiranui is one of the few people Medaka struggles to get on with, as Shiranui was acting the part of the human aspects of herself that Medaka hated. Hence, Medaka dislikes Shiranui, as Shiranui is quite literally the part of Medaka that she herself hates. Funny enough then, when Medaka asks Shiranui to become her vice president, she does so because she wants her vice president to be someone who challenges her. But since Shiranui is literally just the human parts of Medaka, this shows Medaka's subconscious understanding early on that without her human parts, she isn't whole. She seeks to have someone like Shiranui in order to balance her out and make her whole. Shiranui acts to antagonise Medaka throughout the story, or so it may first appear, but what she is actually doing is critiquing and challenging Medaka, helping her to grow and become more human. She was instrumental in Medaka's defeat of the Flask Clan, being the one to assemble Team Loser, and was the sole reason Medaka was able to fight and save Kumigawa in the election battle. She aided Zenkichi in beating Medaka for the sole reason that defeat would help Medaka better herself. When viewed in hindsight, everything Shiranui says and does is just a way of helping Medaka develop. I mean, the Minus Real Eater is a skill that perfects other skills. Not only is it a support skill that represents her nature of supporting others, but it is also a skill that perfects other skills, much like how Shiranui helps Medaka to develop and become whole again. Since minuses are representative of one's nurture in the same way abnormalities represent one's nature, then it's safe to assume that the reason Shiranui gained her skill to begin with was due to the environment she was raised in, being raised not as an individual, but as merely an actor, a double to fulfill a role. Being raised not to value herself as an individual most likely was the reason her skill affects others, not herself, and the way it changes other skills could be a result of her life where she constantly changed personalities with each role. However, the fact she was raised to fake emotions and to not consider feelings gained on the job real feelings was something Shiranui came to reject. The Kurakami successor arc sees a massive change in Medaka, as she rejects her role and embraces her true feelings and her humanity. With this event, Shiranui's role as her double comes to an end. Her job is to help Medaka become whole again, and by manipulating things behind the scenes, she was able to make this a reality. And with the job done, she slinks off back to her village ready for her next job. However, human feelings aren't so easily discarded, even if they were only for a job. She tries to convince herself that she felt nothing and that it was all an act. She even put on a pretty convincing display before her friends. But if she learnt anything from being Medaka's double, it was that Kurakami Medaka didn't give up on her friends. And so she gets through to Shiranui's true feelings with her new ability to understand others, an ability she gained because of Shiranui's actions to begin with. Shiranui though, even if she admits that her feelings from Hakanoa Academy weren't just acting, has no choice but to stay at the village. She has a job lined up, one she cannot cancel, and so will never be able to return to school again. Despite all the efforts they go through, Shiranui is adamant on not returning. But her reasoning has nothing to do with not wanting to, she just can't, as her next role is to be the next Ahiko, and so if she tries to run and return to the academy, then Ahiko would just end up killing all those she loves. And this is the tragedy of the Shiranui as a clan. They live normal lives fulfilled by their work until they come to develop feelings, and then after that fact they are doomed to continue on without ever being able to express those feelings. Shiranui didn't think she could be forgiven for tricking her friends, and so chose to get Kamigawa to erase their memories of her, but things with strong feelings cannot be made fiction, and so Shiranui's friendship with Medaka and Zenkichi remains. A solid proof their connection was real. Medaka learned to love herself through her time at school, and Shiranui, her double, learned to love others. They helped each other to realise their true feelings. Shiranui through behind the scenes schemes, and Medaka through calling her out to her face. They taught each other important things and helped one another to grow. Shiranui helped Medaka out countless times throughout their time at the academy, and so Medaka pays her back by bringing her home. She doesn't save her like she saved strangers before, no, this time she is fighting to save her friend for no other reason than that her heart told her to. The way Shiranui rages when she hears Medaka is leaving the academy is one of my favourite panels in the entire manga, as it so beautifully visualises the feelings of friendship Shiranui now feels. The girl who came to the academy to merely fill a role, who made friends with someone just because it suited their role, who never considered their friends as their actual friends, ended the story as not just someone who loves their friends, but would do anything to be with them. As what is the point of school is to find out that 1 + 1 = 2, and Shiranui definitely found out what this really means. The way she fights Kamigawa with fear in her heart at the prospect that Zenkichi may forever be gone is just beautiful. It shows how much she truly cares for her friends, as even if her job was to help Medaka grow, at the same time Medaka helped her grow, and that's one beautiful thing. And the perfect example of the importance of connection and friendship. As no matter who you are or what you are, no matter your job or the role you were given in life, you are still human. And the one thing all humans have an equal right to is friendship and connection. And this is the important lesson that Shiranui learns by meeting Medaka and attending school alongside her friends. The connection is the strongest power we as humans have, and that is a power we all have, no matter what or who we are. Comment of the week comes from Angela Vujinai, sorry if I pronounced that very badly, and I completely agree Hajikoji should be protected at all costs. If you're interested in my literary endeavours, then why not check out my books Gang Fluid Justice and People of Fate Volume 1, available at Amazon.com. And if you want to go the extra mile in supporting this channel, then consider pledging to my Patreon, where for as little as £2.75 a month, you can get your name at the end of the video, like Hikari Desu, 7SO, Smokey McBobby and Rinjack9696. So with all that said and done, I've been Seth the Sin, the Deadly Sin of Geek, and I'm signing out. Stay safe, everyone.